All right, with the box and whisker plots, you're not asked to actually draw any this time, but you are given a box and whisker plot that looks something like this. Okay? They talk about a total amount of people who took part in the survey. So let's say, for instance, that the total amount of people that took part was 200. Okay, so just imagine there's 200. Actually, that's a really bad example because that's not the number I've used. So let's go 160. So let's say total people
160 km per hour
is 160. Okay. From this, how can you tell that it's 160?
There's 160.
It says total 160.
Yep. Cool. It goes up to 160. All right. Excuse me. Now, you've got your 5-number summary. From this, you should be able to tell me the lowest, the highest. So you should be able to tell me the lowest, the highest, the lower quartile, the upper quartile, and the median. What's the lowest? 10. Excellent. Down there. Go, what's the highest? 160. Cool. What's the median or the middle? 50. Yeah.
See, I didn't get that because I didn't get why the line changes. And
That line will move depending on what the median is.
so you get your final summary and that's how you make your box.
Yes.
Got it.
That's how it works. Excellent. What's your lower quartile?
40.
Lower quartile?
80.
40. And your upper quartile?
80.
It should be.
90?
No, you're right. Hang on.
It was 80 a second ago.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's all gone pear-shaped.
It was 80 like 2 seconds ago.
Okay, here we go.
I was thinking
80.
it was 80.
Cool?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the really, really important thing, and this is the most important thing about box and whisker plots and why they are so bloody good. The median is the middle. It is the absolute middle score. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Not the middle value, but the middle score. And what that means is that there is exactly the same amount of scores that way as there is that way.
What is that?
There is. Don't look at what the values are, because this doesn't tell you anything. There could be one person there and everyone else in here. Okay? But there's not. But the whole thing about the 5-number summary and the quartiles, I mean, the median is the absolute middle score. It's not the middle value. Okay? Just imagine 5 people. Imagine there was, 5, no, let's go, let's make it up. Okay, imagine these are scores in a test, okay? 5, 8, yeah, no, I've made bad ones in it. I just want to do really, really simple. 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay? What's the median score? What's the middle score?
8.
Excellent. What's the interquartile? What's the lower? 5, 9. Now, there is not the same amount of gap between those two as there is those two, is there? Not on the scores. Like there's 3 points between that and only 1 point between that. But that doesn't matter. It's the next score. Does that make sense? So with the median, medians are not a measure of value, they're a measure of spread, where they are located, of location. Okay, the median is the middle score. That means there's 50% of scores above it and 50% below it. Okay, it is the middle score. It's not the mean, not the average score, it's the middle. Cool? Okay, now the good thing is, there is nothing below this because it's the lower extreme. And there is nothing above this, it's the upper extreme. Make sense? So this one has 100% of scores this side of it, and this one has 100% of scores below it. Cool? Now this is where it gets good. This is the lower quartile. How many do you reckon are that side of it? Excellent. Quartile. 25%. How many that side of it? 75%. What about this one? How many that side of it? 25% that side? 75% that side. Does that make sense? So you've got all these wonderful percentages that you can deal with. Now, if I wanted to know what percentage of people had more than 80, or what percentage of scores were more than 80, you should be able to tell me like that. 25%. Because that is the upper quartile. Anything more than that, there's only 25% of scores more than that. Does that make sense? Okay, what percentage of scores was less than 80? 75%. You're out there, you've got 25 above, 75 below. Okay, and if I say, okay, what percentage of scores was above 40? 75. What percentage of scores was below 40? 25. Everyone happy with that? Okay, now this is where we can use this. I've got a total of 160 people. Okay? How many people were there above 80? 25 what? 25% of what? 25% of what? Of my total. So it's 25% of 160, which is 40. So 40 people were up here.
Oh, so you have to actually work that out.
If that number was 100, then 40 would have been the correct answer. Then 25 would have been the correct answer. Okay, now, what if I said, how many above 40? How many people? 75% of 160, if it's 120.
It's always a good feeling.
Cool? Does that make sense? And you can sort of check that if you wanted. 25% below would give you 40, 75% above gives you 120, 120 plus 40 gives you 160. Does that make sense? That's the sort of thing they're going to ask you to do.
Yeah, I get that.
Cool. Excellent.